first Ohio deer ever, baby. Let's go.
There we go. Yeah. Whew, that was
stressful.
Yeah, stress level through the roof right now.
No, we're good to go. Now, you boys are in Florence, is that right?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're right here. Well,
right.
home base is Effingham, but
Effingham,
Florence.
Nice. Y'all got some big deer over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just got too much pressure on them, man. We can't
Yeah.
get in front of them.
Ooh, that's South Carolina, man. That
Yes,
is.
sir. That's across the board.
If you can kill them down here, you can kill them anywhere.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Who was it? I believe Dr. Deer
Dr. Deer.
just made a post on Facebook about that, yesterday?
Yeah.
Said he's hunted all over the country, and the hardest place to kill them's in the southeast.
Man, it is. We're flat land and just cutovers and big hardwood bottoms and just goes and goes and goes. It's tough.
But if you learn how to hunt it, it's something you can fall in love with.
Without a doubt. I told somebody that the other day, if I'd be just fine if I couldn't go back to Kansas or Illinois. If I just stayed right here and hunted these swamp bucks, I'd be just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. And that's something that, like you said, once you get into it, once you figure it out, you just love it to death.
Yeah.
And I really do, in my personal opinion, believe the challenge of it is what makes it so lovable down here.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you bow hunt. I mean, like we're a member of a club down here. There's 12 members. Every member can take a guest. So, excuse me, on a Saturday morning, I mean, you can have, or a Saturday afternoon, you can have 15, 20 people, hunting on the club. It's 1,200 acres, and they're all rifle hunting. And there's feeders and food plots and high-powered rifles going off and four-wheelers and you can shoot $5 here in South Carolina and man, it starts August 15th and goes till January 1st. I mean, they get hammered, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got it rough down here. But I mean, apparently we've got the numbers for it because they won't change the amount of tags that we get. So I mean,
heck, it used to be unlimited bucks. My dad killed 19 bucks in 1 year. Down on the Savannah River, 19 in 1 year.
Well, they got them like hogs down there.
They do. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I remember when we got buck tags, my granddad got mad. He said they're trying to control everything.
A man should be able to shoot every deer he wants to shoot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people down here, man, they still have that mentality, and that's why it's not the only reason, but it's one of the biggest reasons you don't have a lot of mature deers coming out of here.
Yeah, it's hard to get one to 4, 5, 6, no doubt.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think the biggest one I've got here at home is, what was he, 5?
Yeah.
The biggest one I got here, we guessed him right at 5 years old. And still he was maybe 115 inches.
Promise
maybe.
you, it's not in due of us hunting him. It's because he's smarter than us.
Yeah.
Man, they get to 5, they've got a whole nother level of tricks.
Oh, yeah, they've got it figured out. If a deer down here makes it to 5, they've got it figured out.
Yep.
They do. No doubt.
So, yeah, we'll jump right into it. Talking about hunting here in South Carolina. I've spent some time in Ohio. You go all over the place. Seen a lot of your videos, a lot of your podcasts. I know your big thing, one of your biggest things is rut funnels.
Mm-hmm.
So how here, just in South Carolina, here at home for us, how do you tackle the rut funnels? Because we don't really have them here. Because like you said, we're so flat.
It's so tough, right? You look at things from a map and it's just endless. You're like, how in the world am I going to find a funnel? And so they're there, but I hunt another property that is about 2,200 acres. A buddy has given me permission to hunt, and he's got a giant drainage ditch on part of it that goes out to a river. And so you've got that big drainage ditch that restricts movement, and then on another side of it that's it's several hundred yards away. They've got a duck pond and a duck impoundment, and there's a real bad hog problem in there. So they put a fence around that duck pond to keep the hogs out of their corn and everything they plant in there.
Right.
So the deer can't jump in that either. So you've got the drainage ditch on one side, the fenced in on the other. And then what I did is went in and did a little bit of hinge cutting and tightened that up. From the edge of the drainage going towards the duck pond, and then from the duck pond going towards the drainage, and got about a 40-yard gap in the middle. And I cut a bunch of saplings and stuff down, and it's created a funnel. And I've had 2 of the biggest deer on the property go through that funnel multiple times. A lot of it's been at night, but I have had them daylight through that funnel. I just didn't happen to be there when they came through it, but that does work. Another thing that you can do is, on the edges where you get like pines and where you get, maybe hardwoods and they meet a cutover. Those deer really love to work those edges, and I'm sure as much scouting as you guys do, you find a lot of buck sign along those edges.
Oh, yeah.
And you can if you've got an edge, you can tighten that thing up. And if it's ground that you can cut on, I get in there with an electric chainsaw and will hinge cut some trees, and with those trees make almost like a fence and kind of tighten that funnel down. And then I've got to stand on both sides depending on wind direction, and then you can dump a couple mock scrapes in there too. That helps. In South Carolina, we can feed. I haven't had luck with big mature deer coming to any type of bait during daylight. They just for us, first of all, the hogs eat it as soon as you put it out, and the big deer, if they do find it, they're absolutely not going to come in there in daylight on this particular property. But I will do a mineral lick in there because it'll establish a trail system through there. Early season when the does and the younger bucks are coming to that mineral, in July, maybe even into August. And then when the rut starts and those bucks have got that hinge cutting or that whatever to force them down that edge, there's a trail system already there, and they'll really like to get on that trail. So that's what I do. But to answer your question, it is very tough. Bobby Worthington and I teach a course at his home farm in Pikeville, Tennessee, and it's hill country. And so you've got these giant drainages that come off of that and these big bluffs. And man, it's like Ray Charles. You follow 4 or 5 trails, and a blind man can see, they're wrapping around that big ditch or they're wrapping around that bluff, and you'll have 4 or 5 trails come together right there. And that's a wonderful long range funnel when those big deer get cruising and get looking for does. But in the swamps, it's tough, man. You have to really look at it from a macro level. Like, okay, the only impediment I've got, or the only type thing that even could begin to be a funnel, is an edge. So that's where you'd start. And most guys, some guys, it's just a pine plantation, right? And there's nothing really you can do there. I mean, if you find where there are a couple trails that there's like a thicker part of that pine plantation, and there's a couple trails that ease around that thicket, then what you could do, and I don't know if you have the ability to cut anything in there, but you can stack some brush up or stuff to make those trails get closer together. Like, if you've got one trail that's maybe 20 yards from another and another trail that's maybe 50 yards from another, you could take that 50-yard trail and kind of angle cut some pines or brush or stuff and push it into that 20-yard trail, and they'll naturally walk around that stuff that you cut. Now, this is stuff you need to do in March, April, May, June. You don't want to go in there now. I mean, we're at the end of our season, but in the later in the year, February, March, April, get in there and really walk those trail systems and go, okay, this is where my 3 or 4 trails that come through this pine plantation get the closest. So if I do put some brush in here or do a little bit of hinge cutting, and don't make it abrupt, make it kind of at an angle so that it doesn't encourage them to go around the other end of it, that it actually does force them towards those other trails. And all you're doing is if you're hunting one trail, that's a 1%. If you're able to hunt 2 trails, then you've got 2%. If you're able to hunt 3 trails, then you've got 3%. You just triple your chances the more trails, especially during the rut when those bucks are cruising.
Yeah, the more trails you can tie together, the
more of them you can tie together, right, the better off you are. Yeah, 100%.
See, where he's at is family land, so he can pretty much do whatever, anything he needs to do. See, where I'm at, it's a permission piece. It's a over 100-acre permission piece. So what I've been doing, especially moving cameras around and, just kind of scouting, walking around. And the other day, a couple weeks ago, the landowner's son, he made a bad shot on a deer. We went tracking, and when we did, I found a spot that I got a camera on now, and I call it the triple scrape. And what it is just on the edge of, or it's right on on our property side of a natural edge. You've got an old cut down that's real thick now, and then you've got my permission property. It's real old acorn timber.
Beautiful.
And there's a fire road that's right there in the middle of it. It's just that natural edge right there. And it's just on my side of it, and it's a big limb that comes down, and there's 3 separate scrapes underneath it. I put a camera on it, and, it's 24/7, even now. Actually, this morning, I had a good 3-year-old come in there and hit that scrape.
Awesome.
But it's right there on a natural, it's an edge. I can't really... Kind of like what you're talking about. It's hard to do funnels here unless you're doing man-made funnels.
Yep.
So what I normally do with my permission piece is I hunt the edges where the timber
and that's all you can do. That's all you can do, and you can put some mock scrapes in there, and if the landowner lets you put some mineral sites in there early, get some mineral sites to help those trail systems. If you've got some scrapes, you can put some more mock scrapes in there. It sounds like but with those natural scrapes, there's no reason to, and then you just figure out your access, and then it's just time in the seat. You just sit in there as much as you can, and it's challenging, man, because they can, if they suspect something a little weird, it's so easy for them just to loop downwind of you. Whereas when you're hunting that big hill country, they can, unless they have rappelling gear, they're not getting down some of these bluffs or ditches. There's just no way they can do it. So again, that's one of the challenges, especially when you're hunting with a bow and arrow and you're trying to get deer inside 30 yards in flat ground where they can go anywhere. It becomes a real challenge.
It does.
Because like you said, it's one little thing that's off and they're skirting going downwind.
Without a doubt.
That's all they're going to do. But yeah, it's a new spot. I just found it. We've already got a game plan for it to hunt it next year. Any north varying wind, we can get in there no problem. But if it's not north, northwest, or northeast, you're not getting in there because they're coming from that bedding over to this side, hitting the scrapes, going to the food, whatever. And anything outside of a north wind, they'll blow you before they even get out of bed. Yeah. So, and that's just one of the things you got to look at is what's your predominant wind in this area? What wind is going to work? Where are they coming from? Where are they going?
And the discipline, right? Because everybody can't hunt every day. So most guys have got a job. They got to work all week. They get Saturday and Sunday off, and they got south winds on Saturday and Sunday, and they want to go hunt. And they're like, well, hopefully he'll come in on the other side. Hope is not a good plan. No, that's a tough deal there. Because guys want to go and hunt. And my thing there is, I want everybody to hunt, but I just wouldn't hunt my best spots then. If you've got that logging road with those hot scrapes on it and it's on an edge and you've got a camera in there with a good buck daylighting, man, I'm going to play hooky one day from work when I got that north wind or have a sick day or whatever it takes to get in there.
That's what we got vacation for.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That is exactly right.
But see, and going back to what you're talking about with the discipline, especially, our generation, growing up the way we did hunting down here, and I'm sure guys that did it too. They'll sit in the deer stand at 100 yards, over a corn pile, smoke a cigarette, and shoot a rifle at the
Yeah.
first thing that walks out.
Yeah.
So when you grow up sitting in the stand with your granddaddy, not watching the wind, sitting in the stand, smoke cigarettes, whatever, that discipline almost, you have to want it. You have to need that discipline.
You got to realize
It's got to
that
be
there's-
self-taught.
Yeah, there's more to it than that. There's a whole game to play. You're watching it from afar.
Well, and that's what we love, right? As soon as, I never will forget the first deer that I shot at 18, 20 yards with my bow, and I watched that era, when I had actually developed a plan and was able to get in on a deer and actually shoot it with my bow. I mean, you talking about, just the biggest rush of all time.
Yeah,
that hook, line, and sinker. I mean, it's the best thing. It's the best thing money can buy. It's the best thing you can do with all your clothes on. I can tell you that.
That's right. Amen to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was in my 20s before I killed my first deer with a bow. And it's a rush like no other. I haven't touched a rifle since.
Yeah, that's all we do is strictly bow hunt.
Yeah, man, it's awesome.
We'll take the kids, let them take firearms just because, both my boys shoot bows. You can probably see one of them hanging right there behind Hunter. But they haven't developed the strength and the skill to, they're at like 15, 20 pounds.
Yep.
But we got a full 3D range out back. They're out there shooting all the time. And I'm trying to, instill in them the love for archery and all that. But we do dip into a little bit of guns, but it's mainly for the youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my son's 22 now, and he was rifle up until about, I guess, 17. He shot his rifle and then started bow hunting, and I couldn't put a rifle back in his hand for anything. But I think it's great for them to have success when they're young, right? As hard as it is, as hard as it is to bow hunt here in South Carolina. You especially with the way our kids are now, they're so used to instant gratification that you throw one out there for 2 or 3 seasons before he gets a crack at a deer with a bow, he's probably gonna hang that bow up and go on and do something else. But he's knocked him down a few with his rifle, and he's got the itch, and he sees dad out there bow hunting and the challenge, and then he steps up to it and he finally does get some success with it. I think there's a much greater chance he sticks with it. So I encourage the rifle hunting, for the young guys to get going. That's a very good thing in my book.
Yeah, with the instant gratification, I may have ruined my son this year. I went in, I did all the work, all the preseason prep and work and all. Couple bow sits, and got some of these younger bucks on a pattern. And my 6-year-old, the very first time ever deer hunting, killed his first buck this year.
Oh my God! Good for him.
Very first sit ever.
Good for him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
7 point. A
Heck
little
yeah.
2-3-year-old 7 point with his little 20 gauge shotgun. Very first hunt ever.
Perfect.
So I might have
That's
ruined
good.
him on that one. Because now he goes in and sits for a week and doesn't kill a deer. He's probably gonna get mad.
Yep.
Right, that's right. But now he knows what can happen. And,
it can
I'm sure
happen.
you explained to him that is not the normal, that he got very lucky, and the next one he's going to have to work twice as hard to get.
Well, I told him, I was like, listen, you did all this right here because Daddy did all the work. So if you want to do it again, you're going to have to start doing some of the work.
That's good. Yes, sir.
So,
that's good stuff.
But, he's 6 years old. He'll go out and, I'm changing out the batteries in our Moultrie cameras, and he'll help me change the batteries, and he'll help me carry little bags of mineral. He can't carry a big bag of feed or nothing.
Right.
He'll come in there, and when we go to do food plots, he'll pick up sticks or, he's doing what he can for a 6-year-old, but.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I might have
good.
ruined him letting him kill his very first deer on his very first hunt. So.
That's good stuff. Good stuff.
But yeah, so.
Well, man, I really want to jump into the bread and butter of this, and that's the camouflage.
Asio Gear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, happy to love talking about it. We had an all-day meeting with our new designer today, so got some pretty high-speed stuff coming the next couple years. So yeah, man, it's come a long way in 6 years.
Man,
Has it only been 6 years?
Yeah. We started developing it in 2019 and launched in July of 2020, and so we're just about to wrap up our 6th hunting season. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so the very first time I even heard of Asio Gear was I heard you on the Deer Society podcast.
Okay.
And I listened, you went into a deep dive of where you came up with the pattern, how you thought about it. So for the ones that haven't heard that yet, and I know you wanted to touch on this,
Yeah.
where did the actual pattern come from?
Yep. So just backing up a little bit, I had the opportunity to do some mountain hunting, some sheep, goat, that sort of stuff. And growing up in the South, I mean, it was fleece and cottons, and man, when it would get down to 20 degrees, you'd look like the Michelin Man. You'd have so many layers on because there wasn't that technical gear. I never had that. And when I started doing these mountain hunts, I got introduced to the big premium brands that are out there, and I was just blown away at the quality of that stuff.
Yeah.
It was lighter, it was warmer, you didn't have to wear as much, it breathed. It was just pretty amazing. And I'm looking at this stuff and I'm going, this is pretty awesome for the mountains. But if I wear this in a deer stand in South Carolina, if a yearling doe walks out at 100 yards, she's gonna bust me. It's just not the right pattern for what we do.
Stick out like a sore thumb. Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. So I said, you know what? If ever I could think of a camo pattern that would really, really work, that made sense, not some man-made gimmicky pattern that was built in a lab, but something that really made sense in nature, that would work in any part of the whitetail range, I may take a run at this. I've always had a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit, and started several businesses and really enjoy the business side of it. And in 19, it was like October 2019, I was walking into an acorn flat to pull a stand. I was pulling a stand out of there to move it. And as I'm going in there, it's like 10:30 in the morning, two great horned owls. I don't know if they breed in October or if these two were just fighting over something, but it was crazy. They were just going at it. And one of them, as I got closer to them, one of them flew up in a white oak and just disappeared. And I was like, dang, that's incredible. Just seeing owls in daylight is pretty cool in itself. And so
Right.
I started walking to it, and you know how they move their head back and forth. He started wiggling his head back and forth, and I could see him again, and he pitched out of there and landed in another hardwood or a pine and vanished again. And I walked towards him again, and he took off out of there, and he was gone. And I thought, man, that is the best camouflage in a tree that I have ever seen. I mean, that thing, I knew that, but it never really dawned on me at how good their patterns blended when they're in trees. So I thought about it and said, that's a pretty darn good pattern, the way the coloring, the shading, the depth of that pattern, the way it blends. And so I got home and called a couple veterinary friends of mine and said, hey, do a little research on like squirrels and rabbits and mice and deer, their eyesight. And since then we've done a really extensive a bit of research on this. But they all came back and said, look, they're prey animals. They have dichromatic eyesight. They basically all see the same. And so I said, okay, an owl is hunting in animals that have the same eyesight as the animal that I am hunting. It makes a lot of sense to develop a pattern like that. So that's how Asio was born. We took a bunch of high definition pictures of owl patterns, and we started tinkering with them and playing with them, and we developed the pattern. And I never will forget, I got these are some of our first prototype pictures with the pattern on it in the different shades. There's one that says brown, and the other one says brown number 2. So those are actually, that's funny that we're talking about this, and those are right there.
Yeah.
And those are really, that's from like 2019 pictures. But we got the first big print off of the pattern, and I was at our office and went out and wrapped it around a pine tree, and then I had samples from the other camouflage companies and wrapped those around the tree, and it was a pine, the first one. I still have these pictures. And then we looked at it at 10 yards, 30 yards, and 100 yards, and it was unbelievable. You couldn't even see our pattern at 100 yards. And then we did the same thing on an oak tree and a couple other ones, and I was like, all right, the pattern is nailed. So now we've got to start developing the actual clothing, and so that's what we did. We started, Frankenstein stuff together that we liked and sent them to manufacturers and got fabrics and the cut and sew and got all that done. And by July of 2020, we had 7 SKUs. We had a lightweight hoodie, a lightweight pant, a midweight hoodie, a midweight pant, a core vest, and we had a late season jacket, and we had a late season bib. And those were our first 7 products, and we had a couple hats, and we launched, and it has been 4:30 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night for the last 6 years.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So
I love every second of it. It's a lot of fun, and just really do enjoy it. And you create a product, and you create it for selfishly to try to make yourself a better hunter. And the main thing is to get guys as close as humanly possible to whitetail, which is having a good camouflage pattern and ultra quiet gear, but then also having guys to be able to sit in the stand as long as possible. In South Carolina, we get those early season 98-degree days, and if you got on some cotton, cheap Walmart stuff, you're going to sweat your butt off, and it's going to be miserable for you. If you've got really high-performance, moisture-wicking fabrics that can keep you cool, that vent really well, your likelihood of staying in the stand a little bit longer or even going to the stand in August, goes up. And then on the flip side of that, if you've got stuff when it's, in let's say Alberta, when it's, -10 with a 18-mile-an-hour wind blistering across the prairie, and you can sit out there during the rut for 6, 7, 8 hours in late season bibs and jacket and good base layers, and you're comfortable, it's going to prevent your mind from telling you, well, I really need to be back at the office working on this, or, I really need to go home and work on this. You can talk yourself out of sitting in a deer stand pretty darn quick when the weather's terrible. So we're still working on it, and we've got some pretty high speed stuff that we've got on the market now, and it's just getting better and better and better each year as we learn and as we continue to test, and technology improves. As windproof laminates get better and quieter, we're on the cutting edge of that. As the Primaloft insulations, as those get better, we're constantly testing that stuff. So yeah, man, that's a long and short version of how Asio was born and kind of what all we offer.
Well, y'all are on your second pattern now, correct?
We did. We created what we call Rapix, which that's a Latin word for predator. Rap-X. We spell it R-A-P-X, but Rapix is the actual word. And what we did there is we stayed with that natural ambush predator look and feel. We got a lot of influence from bobcats, coyotes, mountain lions, wolves, and it works really good in the tree as well. I would I guess advise guys that are mission specific. If they're all they do is saddle hunt or tree stand hunt, then I would definitely stick with the Raptor. It's going to work incredible in the trees. But if a guy does a little bit of mixed bag, he'll do some slip hunting or spot and stalk. Maybe he builds him a brush blind. He hunts in the tree some too. But then every now and again, maybe he goes on a mule deer hunt, or he goes out west for a pronghorn or elk or something. Then the Rapix pattern is definitely the way to go.
So for down here, would the Rapix be the way to go for, let's say, your turkey hunts, your early season when it's warmer outside turkey hunts?
Works really well. Turkey hunting, and we got. I couldn't believe it. Like we finished our first year. And we get to January and like, oh my God, we made it through, a hunting season. Well, then February, March, the phone starts ringing, email starts blowing up. Guys wanting the early season hoodie and the early season pants, and they want it for turkey hunting. because they're sitting up against hardwoods and that sort of stuff. And man, we got a lot of turkey hunters. There's a guy out of Georgia, Jay Maxwell. He's a big turkey hunter. He used to be with the Seek One guys, and he uses the Raptor and the Rap X. Loves the Rap X for turkey hunting, and actually developing a turkey vest. We're helping him develop a turkey vest with our patterns on it. So, cool. To answer your question, yes, the patterns do work really well turkey hunting.
So, I know my dad, he was supposed to be here tonight sitting in, but he's sick. He couldn't make it. But anytime he steps in the woods, he is head to toe in Asio gear.
I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah, the only thing that he does not have in Asio is the backpack. And,
gotcha.
But the first, I guess, real world experience that I had with the Asio gear is neither one of us have Asio gear right now.
No.
I think after talking to you, we're probably going to get into it.
Yeah.
But
I know a guy that might know a discount code, so we can probably get you boys hooked right up.
Something out now. But no, whenever we had confirmed that we were going to do this podcast with you, I wanted to make it a point to tell you this story. So me and Dad are in Ohio, late season hunting. And up there, the legal hunting times are different than here. I believe in Ohio, it's only 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after. Here we get an hour. So me and Dad, out of state, wanting to be as to the T as possible. We're getting out of the stand, the last couple minutes before legal shooting light eating over. We're sitting in a box blind. My dad gets out, and he just steps to the side. And I step down out of this box blind, and my dad's standing like 5 foot from me, and I turned around, and the first time I turned around, I could not see him. Like, even the human eye, I could not see him. And after that, I was like, it's legit, man. It is.
It really blends well. The guy we worked with to develop the pattern, I mean, he just crushed it. He nailed it. I mean, we did some tweaking to it, but just did a good job with it. And quite frankly, I mean, it's a natural pattern. We stole it from nature. The way I look at it, there's a reason. You get guys all the time that say, I don't need camo to kill deer, and they're right. They're 100% right. You don't need camo to kill deer, but there's a reason why every natural ambush predator, I mean, one that lives, by himself and has to hunt by himself. I can't name a single one that is not camouflaged, right? Mm-hmm. They're all camouflaged. I mean, you look at bears and, you got a black bear. Well, that's an omnivore, right? They're not just an ambush predator. That's not what they do. They do a lot of scavenging. But you look at a bobcat, you look at a mountain lion, you look at a leopard, you look at all of these ambush predators, they're all camouflaged. And what it does is it helps you get closer to the animal, and it helps you get away with movement. That's what good camo does. You don't need camo to kill a deer. Like you said earlier, you can sit 150 yards away in blue jeans and a white T-shirt and be still, and a deer can walk out 100 yards away, and you can dump it with your rifle every day. But if you want to get serious about it and you want to get in there to where you can see their eyes blinking and get that rush like no other, where you fooled them and you're at full draw and they have no idea when you touch that release off and that broadhead slips right through them, that what happened. That, to me, that's the essence of it, right? Is to get as close as I possibly can. And good camo helps you do that.
Oh, yeah.
And another thing with the good camo and getting as close as you can, I mean, it makes you more ethical in your shots. So, I mean, I can give you 2 examples. The 5-year-old buck we were talking about at the beginning of this, I shot him at 17 yards. Yeah. And then my big buck that I killed in Ohio last year, I shot him at 42 yards. I mean, that was the best shot he gave me. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I harvested both of them successfully, but my 17-yard buck, I tracked him down in less than 50.
Yeah.
My 42-yard buck in Ohio, it was almost a 200-yard track.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like you said, getting closer, you get that rush like no other, but you're also more often than not going to make more ethical shots the closer you are.
For sure.
And that also plays into how the bows are designed now. I mean, bows, you go to a shop now and buy one, they're straight out off the wall shooting, 60, 70 yards accurately. So
Without a doubt.
so everybody's like, yeah, we can kill a deer, 50, 60 yards, but yeah, no.
Yeah. The deer's got something to say in that. If he rolls or moves or steps, in the time it takes that bow to get 60 yards or that arrow to get 60 yards, there's a lot that can happen between
That's
where
a
you
long
launch
flight.
it and where it ends up. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like we were out here setting up my new Elite, and we dialed, like he said earlier, we got a big range set up here. We're at Brandon's house. We dialed my Elite in out to 70, but I know I can shoot accurately out to 70 yards. But on a whitetail, I mean, I'm not 40 or less is where I want to be.
And closer the better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like
for sure.
the one you killed, what? I believe it was Kansas 2 years ago. You shot him at like 4 yards.
Yeah, 4 steps. Yep.
Yeah.
And it was me and a camera guy in the tree. Yeah. He was 4 yards from us. Yep, sure did. Shot him quarter and two right in the junction of the shoulder and the spine and dumped him. But
Yeah.
he had no idea we were in the world. Not a clue.
Yeah, I actually watched that hunt earlier today, to be honest with you.
That was a good one.
It was. So we got on here. We did an interview with Mike a couple episodes ago and got to talking with Mike about it. But you're local to us. That's kind of how we put this together here. So
Yeah.
how did you get teamed up with the Deer Society guys?
Yeah, so this goes back years and years, probably 2010 to 2012. I got hooked up with Stan Potts and Tom Miranda.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys old enough to know who those people
Oh, yeah,
are.
I know Stan Pot. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Miranda had a new show coming out called Matthew's Dominant Bucks, and it was all the guys that had been with Lone Wolf's Whitetail Addictions: Adam Hayes, Adam Crumrin, Chris Seymour, the Baker Boys, Stan Potts. All of those guys were part of this show, and I got invited to be a part of it and started doing that. Adam Hayes and I became really good buddies, and we bought a company called the Deer Hunter's Moon Guide. Don't know if y'all have ever heard of that.
I use it to this day. I've got it on my iPhone. I don't have the dial.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
no,
that's
I
right.
use
He
it to this
developed
day.
that.
Yeah.
Yep. So we resurrected that brand, and then I ended up selling my half of the business to Adam, and he took it and ran with it. During that time, Mike Ducart and JJ, his son, were doing the Illusion game calls, and they started selling the Moon Guide for us. For a commission, obviously, but they had a big network of hunters, and they had an Amazon presence, and so they started selling the Deer Hunter's Moon Guide, and so that's how I got to know JJ and Mike, and then we became friends through the industry over time, and they were just really good people. I did some hunt breakdowns with them. Adam and I started a TV show called Team 200.
Yep.
And
all those too.
and so we started that. And so, and then Deer Society was part of that, with the Illusion game calls. And so it was just a happy family with all those guys. And when I started Asio, talked with JJ, and we worked out a deal, we partnered up with those guys with the clothing. And so that's what, how that whole marriage became to be.
Yeah. So I've used the Illusion stuff for, oh God, how long have my first extinguisher, I had it 4 or 5 years. And after we did the podcast with Mike, he hooked us up with some new extinguisher and a whole bunch of the phase system. And that phase is no joke.
Yeah, that phase stuff works.
The very first time I sat in a tree with the phase, I had 3 different bucks. They come into the food plot and then circled downwind. And they did exactly what Mike told me they were going to do. They picked their nose up a little bit, sniffed around, and then went right back to doing what they were doing. Had not a care or not a clue in the world that I was there. And they're directly downwind of me here in South Carolina. So
that's good stuff.
That's
yeah,
tricky.
it's a testament to it right there. Now I'm assuming. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but you use the phase as well.
Yeah,
Being
I
teamed up with those
absolutely
guys.
do. I'm big. I make JJ. He's got those 5-pack boxes that with the different stuff with the lotions and the
Yeah, that one right there.
right there. Yeah,
Yeah, we've got them
I
all
could
too.
grab one right over here, but
Yeah.
I make him fill my box up with 5 of the laundry detergents because my wife, she does the laundry and bless her soul, we've been married for 25 years, but she knows not to dump the Tide in on my hunting clothes, so I keep her. I keep her in high cotton with all the phase laundry detergent. So yeah, we use that religiously.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna give a little shout out to my wife as well, because all throughout the year we use the Tide and all the stuff to make your clothes and your bed sheets smell good. But my
Yeah.
wife went and found these little tablets that whenever hunting season rolls around, she'll run it through the washing machine and it's supposed to clean all that stuff out before I start using the phase again. So
That's
shout out to my
awesome.
wife for that.
Yes,
So,
yeah. Hey man, behind every good hunter is a real good woman because without it, you can't be a good hunter. There is no
Oh, yeah.
doubt about that.
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings is from the Working Class Bow Hunter podcast. You can't kill big bucks if your wife sucks.
That
And
is yes, without a doubt.
and that's just the truth
Without
of
a
it, man.
doubt. Yeah, without a doubt.
So one thing that I want to ask is like material wise, whenever we're making camouflage now.
Let's go for it.
Material wise, whenever you was coming up with your patterns and everything, was you looking for like a Muriano wool type thing, or was you kind of going toward a synthetic line of it, or how was you coming up with that design?
Yeah, so what I have found and what I had found is merino wool is a great next to skin product. If you try to start developing outer layers with wool in general. Now don't get me wrong, wool is a great outer layer too, but they're better alternatives now with technology. What happens with wool is ultra quiet, no doubt about it, but it's heavy and it absorbs water. So if you get rained on or snowed on, it's going to get even heavier. And so there are other synthetic products out there like fleece, like a in the state of the art polyester fleece that's bonded with a windproof membrane and a really light insulation. So wool's great, and we have merino. We have two base layers that are a mixture of merino and synthetic, and then we have a heavyweight base layer that's 100% merino. And I hunted, what was it? Not maybe. Yeah, yesterday morning it was 25, 26 degrees in the swamp, and I had on our merino wool next to skin base layers. I had on our Sherpa pants. That's all I had on the bottom, and then on top I had that heavy merino top. I had our midweight hoodie, and I had our puffy jacket, and that's all I had on. And I was good. I was 100% good until 10 o'clock. I got in the stand. I was there, got there about 6:30, got settled in, and I was there till 10 o'clock, and not a care in the world. So that merino wool is awesome for a next skin layer, but I'm not a fan of using wool as an outer layer. I used to be. It made a lot of sense, but technology has really come around, and it's you can get the same quietness that you can get from wool with a current synthetic type product, and so it made sense for us to do that.
That's
Right.
that's kind of what piqued my interest with y'all. Not along with it being y'all are a South Carolina based company for one. I mean y'all are home. Y'all are right here.
Yeah, you're listening an
Yeah.
hour from us right now. We're listening an
Right.
hour apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the time that we've been on this podcast, we probably could have drove to your office.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. We could have definitely met in Bishopville for sure.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So I'm gonna just straight up tell you, by your timeline that you was saying earlier, I was getting back into bow hunting by this guy. It all come about. He happened to, it's a long story, but he happened to come apart a bow and it was like, hey, you want to buy it? Yeah, I'll get back into bow hunting. And that's how this whole thing come about. And it's just, over the years, it's just kind of grown because, we're bow hunters on a budget. I mean,
For sure.
we're 9 to 5 every day. Well, he's
I'm
he's
7
around
to
the
7.
clock.
Yeah.
He's 7 to 7. We do this whenever we can, but it's our passion. It's what we love to do. So if if I was going to dive back into it, I was going to spend the money on some gear that was worth it. I wasn't just going to go to Walmart, buy. No, I mean, not that anything's wrong with that, but I wanted good gear that I could bow hunt in. So I just dove right into First Light because I was watching Meat Eater all the time. So, my whole arsenal of everything from, socks to backpacks and gloves is First Light gear. And, midway through it, I started seeing the Asio stuff whenever.
Yeah, same thing with me.
Our other hunter friend started buying it, and he actually bought a full kit last year to go to Ohio, and he brought it over here and let us see the whole Asio box and everything. He was like, check it out. And I was like, man, I should have waited.
First Light, no man, First Light makes great stuff. They make really good stuff. I think we've got some features that are different, that are a little more conducive for us bow hunters, and I think we win in the camo pattern. I think for us, how we hunt in the camo pattern. But no, man, First Light, that's a great company. Everything the Meat Eater does for our industry, I'm a big fan of First Light and what they do, and very friendly competitor. We're striving to get to their size. They're one of the big players in the game for sure.
Yeah, they are. But like Hunter was saying earlier, we're at the point now that we're looking for that provider of. We like homegrown people. We like South Carolina-based companies. So we have been throwing everything up in the air. What camouflage? Because you're in Huntworth right now. And that was, kind of a sponsor-oriented based thing.
Yes and no, because so I got into the Huntworth gear. One of our partners with the podcast and with Wicked Sticks as a whole, they're up in North Carolina. It's Foggy Buck Outdoors. Their storefront, and that's where we get our food plot seed, our feed, our mineral, all that good stuff.
All that stuff, and it is great. For South Carolina, local stuff. North Carolina, it's great stuff. The feed is amazing. The mineral blend, our deer tear it up down here in Florence.
Awesome.
Their top coat blend that, you just put a bag of corn out, throw a little top coat on top of it. You could use this stuff as an air freshener. It smells so good.
It does. That's one of the very first things my wife said. We were sitting there talking about it. I cracked it open at the house, and she said, damn, it smells good too. But
perfect.
In their
Win-win.
But in their storefront, they also sell the Huntworth. And like I mentioned a minute ago, me personally, I'm a big fan of the working class bow hunter guys. And all of them, they also wear the Huntworth. So I was like, all right, I want to try some of this stuff out. And it's a lot better than what I had before. Because what I had before, I'm not going to name drop, but it's another South Carolina-based camouflage company, if you know who I'm talking about.
I think so.
Yeah, it's not Asio, it's another one. But late season, Ohio, I like the froze.
Yeah.
And that's when, I got into, with our Foggy Buck partners, I got into the heat boost stuff that they got there. But going back to hunting with my dad in Ohio, it's late season, January. We're in a rhino blind. We walk in, and we get set up in the blind, and I'm bundled up head to toe, about to freeze in the camouflage I had before. And my dad's in the Asio gear. We're sitting in the blind for about 10 minutes, and he's coming out of layers because he's about to burn up. I believe he had the mid-season pants, the mid-season hoodie, and the mid-season vest that you guys are. Those are Sherpa lined, right?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, okay, so that's what he has. And we're sitting in the blind. I've got my late season stuff on. I'm still about to freeze. He's got y'all's mid-season stuff on, and he took the hoodie off and put the vest back on because he's about to burn up sitting in the blind. And it's with the wind chill, I think it was 13 degrees that morning. Actually, that was the day that he killed his doe.
That's the day he killed
That was the day he killed his doe. He was up there with the muzzleloader. I'd killed my buck during the rut. We went back during the late season, and he killed a doe up there with the muzzleloader. First one he ever killed with the muzzleloader was in the Asio gear.
Nice. Glad to
So-
hear that. Yeah, it's the membrane that we use, that windproof membrane that we use in those garments that makes it so warm.
So y'all have two different, or is it three different base layers? Also, a mid-season and a late-season base layer.
We have three. We have a lightweight one, we have a midweight one, and both of those are a blend. They're merino wool and a synthetic. They dry very quickly, but they still have some of the main merino properties as far as staying warm when they do get a little bit moist, and then also the antimicrobial of merino wool. And then our late season is it's I think 98% merino wool. It could be 95 or 98, but it's basically 100% merino wool. And man, it is warm.
Oh yeah, I've seen it in action. 13 degrees in Ohio late season, I have seen it in action. I watched my dad sweat in it. And from
good
then
to
on
hear.
out, I was like, man, this is good stuff. But like he was talking about earlier, everything we're doing now is coming out of our pocket. We don't
yeah.
have anybody paying us to do this. All his first light, all of our bows, everything comes out of our pocket. And I'm fortunate enough, my wife's able to stay home with my kids. My wife does not work. But
Yeah.
I mean, so at the end of the day, everything's coming out of
everything.
one
We're
paycheck.
And it's
We're
not
bow
cheap,
hunting.
man.
On a budget.
Yeah, and
It's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. So
No, it's
no, I
not.
get it. It's an expensive hobby.
it's something that we really love to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
We wouldn't do it if we didn't.
We're sitting here with you right now, and I mean, you see, this brought us a long way. I mean,
Yeah.
so,
Oh, it's awesome, man. It's fun.
That's one of the things I like about the Asio gear that me and Brandon have talked about before. And I don't want to, if anybody hears this, I'm not dissing any other company. But like the First Light or your big, what is it, Sitka? The real big
Yeah.
money stuff? You know, First Light, Sitka, those companies, they make good stuff. But guys like me and Brandon, there's no way I can afford it. There's no
I
way.
mean, you do it by saving up your money, and I'm gonna get the jacket this time.
Yeah.
And you know,
I mean,
save
you're
the
talking
money and
about
get it,
$500-600 for a jacket,
and
that's one thing I like about the Asio is the material and all, like you're talking about. It's up to those standards, but it's not at the same price point.
Yeah,
It's
and the
more
reason
affordable
for that,
the guys like us.
if we were in stores, like if you went to Bass Pro and there was Asio in there, we would absolutely be the same price as those other brands, but we sell directly to the customer. You know,
Right.
so we're the big box stores, they mark that stuff up 40 or 50%.
Well,
so
I mean, they got to make money too.
yeah, oh, of course. They've got the storefront. They've paid for that real estate. So they
Right.
got to get a return. They got employees. So, yeah, I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. But
Right.
with us being customer direct, there is no markup there. So we're able to use the same quality of materials and the same cut and sew, but there is no markup for that, and then sell it directly to the customer. And then, what happens there is guys worry, well, I really want to feel it, touch it, try it on before I commit. And we got a pretty good plan there. We have, the free shipping. We ship it out for free. You get it in. You got 30 days to try it. And if it doesn't fit or you don't like it, we send you a free return label. And you just put that on the box, ship it back to us, and you fill out a little form that says, I need an XL instead of the large, or I just don't like it, and you get 100% of your money back. So we make it pretty easy for guys, and then we also offer a lifetime warranty. So if somebody buys one of our pair of bibs, one of our late season bibs, one of our most expensive pieces, and 3-4 years down the road they're climbing over a barbed wire fence, hopefully not to get on somebody else's property, but they're climbing over.
Yeah.
They're climbing over a
Front funnel.
natural funnel. Yeah,
Yeah,
natural
that's
funnel.
right.
Exactly. Yeah, and they happen to rip those bibs. We'll either fix them or replace them. They've got an unconditional lifetime warranty on all of our gear because again, it is expensive, and we're all bow hunters. We get it, and we're blue collar boys from right here in South Carolina, and people spend their hard earned money, and we stand behind. We stand behind the product and want guys to get what they paid for. And if something like that happens, we've got seamstress that can sew it up, or if it's not repairable. And we had one guy that he had a little too much of that fire fire water one night and passed out by a heater and lit his bibs on fire and burnt the whole leg up. And we got him a whole brand new pair of bibs. So stuff like that happens, and we'll take care of them.
Yeah, see, I'm glad you brought that up too, because that was a point that I wanted to bring up. I was watching you on Chasing Giants. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, it was one of the episodes you did with them guys, and that was in their intro or whatever. They did the whole thing with the Asio Gear, and they're talking about the lifetime warranty, and I did not know that until I heard it right there. And I mean, it was the same example that you used just now. You crossing over a barbed wire fence and you rip your bibs, you send them back to you guys at Asio, and you'll either fix it or replace it, no charge, no questions asked.
Yep, that's 100% right. Yep, absolutely.
Now, is that, I'm assuming that goes for everything you guys have, your backpacks,
everything we have,
whatever.
Yeah, boots, hats, gloves. You know, we had a guy that bought. This is kind of unbelievable, but it's our policy. We had a guy in 2020 bought a pair of our gloves, and he emailed us, I think like 2 weeks ago, and said, "I know this is probably a long shot, and I shouldn't even be asking, but man, I've had your gloves, and you know I've been climbing in them and doing yard work, and they got a split between one of the fingers. Is there anything that y'all can do for me?" And you know, our operations guy said, "Yeah, man, send them back to us, and we'll take a look at them, and if we can't get them repaired, we'll send you a new pair." We got them back, and they were complete. You know how gloves wear out over time.
Yeah.
And heck, we just put a new pair in the mail and sent them back to him because that's our policy.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And you brought something up a few minutes, or in just a second ago, that's relatively new to you guys, the boots. I want to touch on those.
Yep.
So
first year doing boots, and we kind of eased into it. We didn't buy or we didn't make a bunch of them, but we wanted to get them out. We wanted to get them out in the field, let guys try them, and you know it's a knee-high 17-inch rubber boot, and they've got neoprene at the top, a light neoprene at the top, and then the thing I guess that separates our boot is the fit. It literally is like wearing a tennis shoe. They are so comfortable. And so, you know, you get a lot of rubber boots, and it's like wearing a big clunky, you know, you feel like you're wearing a big clunky, for lack of better words, like booty. And this is, you know, our boots are, I mean, it's literally like wearing a very well form-fitted tennis shoes. So, and they're uninsulated, so it's not something you're going to wear in super cold weather, but especially for us guys in South Carolina where we got swampland, we got to cross creeks and, you know, that sort of thing, or if you're a turkey hunter or you're scouting and you know, you don't know exactly what you're getting into, they do really well there. So, you know, we tried them. They were really successful. We've got a little bit of them left. I think we'll sell out of them by Christmas. And then next year we're talking about possibly doing an insulated version of them.
That was going to be my next question. You said this is your first year with the boots, not insulated. Is there going to be an insulated pair maybe in the future?
Yep, we're working on that, and you know we're going to get all of our feedback.
He had to buy some insulated boots this year.
I understand, buddy. I understand. If feet get cold, man, you're ready to get out the tree.
That's the only thing that'll run me out is if my feet get cold.
Yeah, and there's a whole story behind that, but long story short, I dropped a boot at about 30 feet in the saddle one day trying to put a foot warmer on my toes because my boots was uninsulated. And I had to climb down on tethered Skeletor sticks.
Oh.
With your socks.
With just a sock on and a frozen foot. Because I tried to loop that thing for like 30 minutes with a hook. And I mean, I gave it my all. And I could not get it. And finally, I just had to climb down with a frozen foot. And yeah, I bought insulated boots after that. But
smart man.
They're very clunky. They look like the Michelin Man could put them on and go hunt a deer.
Yeah. No, I get it, but that's it, man. Your feet and your hands, and you know, a tip. A lot of people know this, but some of your listeners might not. A lot of times when your extremities get cold, like your hands and your feet, it's because your core is not warm enough, and you know your blood naturally, as your organs, your heart and lungs and your core starts to get cold, it sucks all your blood in to those areas to keep. It's a survival tactic. So if you can keep your core really, really good and warm, and that's really we've got a pretty unique vest system. We've got a puffy
Yeah,
vest,
I'm a big vest
pre-off,
guy for that reason.
and then a windproof vest that's got a membrane in it with some Sherpa lining to help keep that core really warm. That'll help your feet and your hands.
Well, see, that might be part of my problem because I'm not even.
You don't have a vest, do you?
I mean, I wear bibs and like my underlayer, and then my bibs, which I only have one pair of bibs, which because they cost so much.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not the newest set. It's like from 2 seasons ago.
Yep.
So it's not the high dollar end. You know, it is mid season gear from 2 years ago, and you know I've just been building my kit as I go, just perfecting it because not a lot of suppliers of camouflage are bow hunter oriented.
Yep.
So the fit and everything. So
Yeah, when you go to draw, you can feel it or you can hear it.
I know Asio is bow hunter oriented, First Light is, and some Huntworth stuff is. I don't want to say selling point to me for it was the sizes because I've looked at y'all's sizes and I'm a skinny dude, but I'm tall. I'm like a rail. So I'm worried if I get a large, it won't fit. If I'm worried if I get a medium, it won't fit. So, you know, 6 foot, 170 pounds, skin of a rail guy, what do you recommend size wise?
Yeah, I would do at 170 pounds. You know, you sound very similar to Wells here in our office as our head of marketing. He's like that. He's very skinny and tall, and he wears our large talls. You know, we do make a tall, so the sleeves are a little bit longer and the inseam's a little bit longer. So we do have the tall versions available.
Now, see, I didn't know you guys offered that either, and that might be what my dad ended up going with because me and my dad, we're built completely different. I mean, I'm 5'9", 200 pounds. My dad's 6'1", 6'2", and he maybe $180 soaking wet.
Yeah, what a center block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he probably went with the large talls, and yeah, it's got some longer inseam, longer sleeve length, and it works for guys. So you know, your sleeves aren't up by your elbows, you know, that sort of thing.
That makes a big difference in a lot of guys.
Sure.
It does. Because I know
Absolutely.
with me now having the Huntworth stuff, they don't offer tall or short. It's just a large, medium, large, extra large. I mean, that's what you get. And I mean, I went with a lot of my stuff's a large because I mean, I like a little bit more snug fit. But even in a large, with me being 5'8", 5'9", my jacket still goes well past my waist. So the fit is a big thing. A lot of people don't pay any attention.
It is.
And I know it's not a beauty contest when you're in the woods. But in my personal opinion, if everything goes good, you look good, you're going to feel good, and you're going to be more confident. That's just me. And I mean,
You got to be
stick to
confident.
that. Yeah. Anything you can
got to
do.
be confident in your gear.
Yeah, whatever your mentality is, how your mind works, whatever you can do to be more confident, you got to do it.
Yeah,
like, I've seen guys that, you know, they're wearing mossy oak pants and a real tree t-shirt, and it drives me up the freaking wall. I can't stand it.
That's like Ford and Chevy.
Yeah, I mean, you can't put a Chevrolet transmission on a Ford motor. You can't do it. It's not going to work.
You can't.
But yeah, well,
Joe, we really appreciate you being part of our podcast, and you know, kind of what we're trying to still get off the ground here. And we've kept you long enough, brother. And we could sit here and talk for hours about deer hunting and everything, but we really do appreciate it, man.
No, I appreciate the opportunity, and you know, with us being that close, y'all have to come. If y'all get up to Columbia, come by and see us. Come by and see the shop, and we'd love to show you around. And anything I can do for you guys, anything I can do for you guys, let me know. And once y'all get all that other gear on Facebook Marketplace and get rid of it, I'll get y'all a discount code, and we'll get y'all all squared away with some Asio.
Listen, you let this deer season close out, and we'll make something happen.
Hey,
we'll make it happen for sure. Absolutely.
So, real quick, we try to keep these around an hour. There's two things I want to touch on before we get out of here. One, I want you to shout out your socials, your podcast, because Mission Whitetail is awesome. I love it.
Thank you.
Your
Thank
socials,
you.
your podcast, your show, anything like that you do. And yeah, I mean, we would love to make a trip, maybe do a podcast at Asio and do a
Yeah.
little bit more deep dive into what you guys got going on, if that's something you'd be interested in.
Yeah, we've got a podcast little studio here at the office, and love to have you guys up, and yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. We could talk southern whitetails and the challenges we have. That'd be a lot of fun, and we got a big barbecue place right here beside our office, Doc's Barbecue. We're right by the Gamecock football stadium, so we're right here, and love to have y'all up anytime. And yeah, so I'm Joe Miles Hunting is Instagram, Facebook. I don't do a ton on Facebook, more on Instagram, and then Asio, it's Asio Gear. That's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Mission Whitetail is our podcast, and Mission Whitetail is that is the YouTube channel as well.
Okay. And if we should be able to, all the links for the Mission Whitetail stuff and Asio Gear, we can put it in the
Oh,
the
absolutely.
description of this
Yeah,
podcast.
we'll put links for all of your stuff, all the Asio gear. We'll put all that down there in the description. Make sure everybody sees it because.
Man, thank y'all so much. I really do appreciate the opportunity to do this. And again, anything I can help, you boys hit me up, and we're so close together. We'll have to get together soon.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And if y'all need help taking care of those hogs we had talked about earlier in the podcast, you just let us know.
Yeah, I will definitely let you know. That is definitely a good January, February, March thing to get after, no doubt.
Oh yeah, we can shoot some hogs. We can get together. But yeah, we would love to come up there and make a trip. I mean, with my work schedule, you just say when. We can make the trip
Sounds
up there,
good.
and we'll do Wicked Sticks, Mission Whitetail
His work
podcast.
schedule.
Yeah, with my work schedule. Yours is a little bit different. But with mine, you just say when. We can make it happen.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll do that. I look forward to it.
Well, good deal, man. I appreciate it, and I think we're going to go ahead and close it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate
Good
it,
deal.
man.
All right, thanks, boys. Appreciate
guys.
it.